These are 8 times creators warned their audiences, but no one took them seriously.
But there's some shady shit going on.
These are not real people. These are not real views.
Do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Let's start with the king of horror games himself. With over 37 million subscribers and a reputation for honesty, Markiplier rarely speaks out unless he means it. So when, in 2019, he interrupted a live stream to talk about a free browser extension named Honey, it was enough to catch the internet's attention.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but I naturally distrust Honey.
Honey promised free coupon codes at checkout, which sounded too good to be true. And according to Mark, that's exactly what made it suspicious.
But my gut tells me that nothing in life is free. So where's all these savings coming from?
He pointed out the massive YouTube ad campaigns and endless influencer sponsorships, asking the question everyone else avoided. How is this thing making so much money? Even after admitting that maybe Honey was fine, he couldn't ignore the red flags.
And like, I got no problem with like the concept of an app that like clips coupon codes for you. That's great. That sounds great on its surface. But there's some shady shit going on. People are getting money out of it, and then people are saving money out of it, and that makes sense, but the other part doesn't make sense, and then something's going on here. Where's all this money coming from?
Then he came with the chilling prediction.
I have a feeling there's gonna, in like a couple years, there's gonna be the great Honey conspiracy of like 2022.
That prediction came true just 3 years later. In 2025, tech YouTuber Megalag exposed Honey as a major scam, confirming that the service deliberately offered poor discounts and interfered with creators' affiliate links, costing them revenue.
Honey is a scam, and the majority of claims promoted by those influencers aren't even remotely true.
Other YouTubers like MKBHD confirmed the claims, calling Mark way ahead of his time.
I just knew that it didn't feel right. I never took a Honey deal because I didn't trust it. And holy shit, it was so much worse than I ever could have imagined.
The internet owes this man an apology. While everyone else was chasing easy money, Markiplier was playing detective with a browser extension. But he wasn't the first to speak up. Long before Ryan Kaji became a YouTube star, PewDiePie was already raising red flags about the darker side of kids' content, and hardly anyone listened. On January 3rd, 2017, PewDiePie, then the biggest YouTuber on the planet, stumbled across a headline.
What is this? 5-year-old threatens to dethrone YouTube king PewDiePie over my goddamn dead body.
The article referred to a toy review channel called Ryan's World. Instead of brushing it off, PewDiePie decided to investigate, and what he found left him uneasy. He questioned everything, from the scripted reactions to the suspiciously low like-to-view ratios.
Here, have you ever seen a video with 11 million views and 9,000 likes? Please direct me to that video, because it doesn't exist. These are not real people. These are not real views.
What troubled him most wasn't the content, but who was behind it.
It's kind of like seeing child stars on television, because you know, like, their parents are literally forcing them to do it, and it's just something sad about it.
He even filmed a darkly comedic skit imagining Ryan's mom forcing him to be energetic for money.
Can you do it again, baby? But can you do it with more energy?
More energy?
Yeah, hey, here's a Red Bull, okay? Mommy needs some dollars, so you need to look happy.
Years later, PewDiePie's concerns were validated. Ryan's World faced accusations of parental exploitation, shady merchandising deals, and blurring the line between content and advertising. PewDiePie had his own warnings, but they were about the bigger picture: patterns, platforms, behavior. Meanwhile, in a completely different corner of YouTube, Victoria Rose, known as Woah Vicky, was about to say something no one expected. Her message wasn't about Ryan, it was personal, about someone she'd actually known. A few years earlier, in 2018, she and Lil Tay were internet famous for all the wrong reasons: fake money, loud drama, and videos that felt like stunts more than anything real.
I'm only 9 years old, I ain't got no license, but I still drive this sports car, bitch.
But that image cracked when Vicky posted a surprisingly serious video. She revealed that Lil Tay wasn't the bratty social media queen she appeared to be, but a 10-year-old ballerina from Canada, manipulated by her brother.
Lil Tay is a little girl, a 10-year-old girl who came from Canada, Vancouver who plays ballet. You know what I'm saying? She don't know nothing about no rappers. She don't know nothing about flexing. It's her brother that runs her account.
Vicky described how Lil Tay would be yelled at if she didn't perform her role correctly, and how it often reduced her to tears.
She's really a good person. Like, it's just her brother in her ear telling her what to do. He started yelling at her and was like, why'd you do that? You did it wrong, da-da-da-da-da. And then she started crying because, like, she's 10 years old. She doesn't know how to handle all that.
The internet responded with rare praise for Vicky's honesty. Eventually, Lil Tay disappeared from the internet, only to return years later, living a normal life, away from the chaos her brother once forced her into. By calling out Tay's brother, Vicky ended up creating the most watched video on her channel with 3.7 million views. But she wasn't the only one calling things out. Sometimes the most damning warnings come from the most unexpected places. When JackSepticEye appeared on a lie detector test video with Tommy in it, nobody expected him to drop one of the most controversial takes in YouTube history.
Do you like MrBeast?
No.
The jacket. Oh! Do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Oh! Now, in all honesty, Jack, why?
Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
This video went viral, and while MrBeast hit back on social media, most fans took Jack's opinion seriously. And in the months that followed, multiple controversies would justify his warning, from poor medical care on the Beast game set, to questionable health claims by his food brand Feastables, to general over-commercialization. The cracks in MrBeast's empire began to show.
And I usually don't make videos discussing creators' products, but when terms like healthier or better for you get tossed around, I feel it's important to set the record straight.
Jack never posted a follow-up. He didn't have to, but the conversation around YouTube's hidden truths had already been sparked earlier. In 2019, a lesser-known creator named Polydactyl posted a video with a bold title, "Primitive Technology Channels Are Lying to You." These were the channels where men in jungles built swimming pools and mansions using only sticks and mud. But Poly noticed something off.
See, this dude is using a stick to carve out this giant hole, which leaves very small marks in the dirt. And if you look above, you see these really big, wide marks. Something that a shovel would make.
He highlighted tire tracks, inconsistent digging patterns, and even the presence of modern tools like hatchets, sarcastically asking,
"This he's splitting bamboo with a hatchet? Hatchets do not pop up in nature, alright? Have you ever seen a field of hatchets? Me neither."
His final claim? These videos weren't made by lone survivalists, but teams hired by local companies who staged scenes for viral success. The video went viral, and suddenly, the internet couldn't unsee the signs. Since then, dozens of exposés have confirmed that many primitive building videos are scripted, staged, and fake. Poly was right all along, and for once, the truth was actually more interesting than the lie. But that was back in 2019. Years later, in December 2024, a different conversation popped up. British travel YouTuber Chris Broad, abroad in Japan, also made headlines when he criticized MrBeast, not for his videos, but for collaborating with Logan Paul.
It was very strange. Like, how could MrBeast, a guy who is famed for being a genius, who mastered the algorithm, how could he not calculate that partnering with such a man would be anything other than a shit idea?
Chris followed this up with a broader point.
And if the people at the top of this platform with unimaginable reach don't have a good moral compass to guide them, then we all lose for it, particularly the next generation growing up watching this, especially if they're raised on a diet of lunch late. My message this Christmas is simple. Choose very carefully who you watch on YouTube.
His warning felt philosophical. And then came reality. Logan Paul's crypto scams, prime drink controversies, and backlash against Beast's endorsements. Chris's video hit nearly 2 million views, and fans praised him for saying what few dared to. Just months later, another warning came, this time from the Sidemen. Their 2025 charity football match at Wembley was one of the biggest YouTube events of the year. But behind the scenes, something wasn't right. In 2025, the Sidemen charity football match at Wembley was one of the biggest YouTube events of the year. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. The Sidemen issued a statement. We've been made aware that bots and fake accounts are claiming to sell charity match tickets. These are most likely scams. People were glad for how quickly the announcement was made, but it wasn't the first time. In 2024, the group had called out people scalping charity tickets on eBay, buying in bulk only to resell at huge markups.
So we check on eBay people are reselling.
I really dislike the fact that people have thought, there's a charity event, let me go and buy a ticket so I can sell it to make 10 times the price of the ticket for myself.
Once again, the Sidemen proved they weren't just entertainers. They were responsible voices in the community. But not all warnings were about scams or sponsorships. Some were far more disturbing. On June 8th, 2007, one of the most chilling came from TJ Kirk, better known as the Amazing Atheist. Months before tragedy struck, he had already sounded the alarm about someone who would later be identified as a mass shooter.
I want to talk about these kids, not just kids, there's adults too, who seem to extol Eric and Dylan here on YouTube. I'll link to all of their profiles once again.
In a 2007 rant video about school shooters and their online fan base, he listed several YouTube profiles he found concerning.
We're always talking about warning signs, and could we have seen it coming? Well, you know what? If you want to look for warning signs, there they are. Those are your warning signs.
One of the names he mentioned was Natural Selector 89, aka Pekka Erik Ovinen, a Finnish teenager. 5 months later, Natural Selector 89 would become the perpetrator of the Jokela school shooting, killing 8 people. TJ's warning wasn't vague or symbolic, it was direct, and it was ignored.
You could probably tell that I'm not happy about my vindication, because it was something that I warned you would happen, something that I told you to be mindful of, and you didn't. You weren't mindful of it, you criticized me for it.
His video resurfaced years later, with many calling it prophetic. Sadly, TJ's accuracy came at a heavy price.